What's going on, movie fans? Welcome to Movie Rounders Live. I'm Matthew, Darby, Phil, and Bethany, and we're bringing you fan night here on Movie Rounders. If you're wondering where Tony and Daniel are, well, they're off being adults, doing adulting things. So we bring you Darby and Phil, two of our special guests that we've had throughout the season here. And it's a special night, guys. We're going to let you guys control everything that we do. Hopefully my comments will actually work this time so I can actually bring your comments up. If not, we've got resident comment reader Bethany over here. So what we did is we had a few comments that came in on the old post or the first post that we put up. So we're going to go through those first. And then when you guys bring in your fan submitted questions, we're going to bring in those and we're just going to answer them to the best of our abilities. So we're going to start with one that came in from Josh Grissett, who said, worst theater experience not involving people, talking, cell phones. So I figured I would let the rest of the panel think about it for a second because I definitely had my answer. It wasn't too hard to think about. And it actually has nothing to do with the movie, and it actually has nothing to do with the theater. When Phil, my brother down here, when we were younger, we were getting ready to go to what we thought was a movie, and my parents were very sketchy about it. And they were like, hey, put on your wrestling shirts. We're like, okay, wrestling shirts. Sure. So then they drove us all the way to Buffalo, and we went to a live wrestling show. And I was like, woo, this is really, really cool. So then a few years later, they were like, hey, we're going to go see Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. And I was like, yeah, but wrestling's on tonight. So I just thought they were going to take us back to another wrestling show. And they didn't. They took me to Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. And I was miserable the entire show. So I would say that was probably my worst theater experience.
Are you just not like a Harry Potter fan, or were you just really looking forward to wrestling?
I love Harry Potter. I was really looking forward to wrestling. Is what I was. So.
You were conned.
Yes, I felt betrayed. So Darby, what is your worst theater experience not involving people talking or playing on their cell phones?
This one was easy for me too. I think I mentioned this last week, but big MCU fan, love those films. So when it was time for Endgame, like I'd done my homework, I kind of fished around, looked at some things that may or may not happen in the film, and there was one moment that I had been waiting for the entirety of the MCU, and that would be Captain leading everyone and yelling "Avengers Assemble," but I could not hear that because no one would stop clapping every time somebody stepped out of the portals. And so I know that was a great moment, but the entire theater just started standing up and clapping on opening night when we went to see this. And I couldn't even hear the words Avengers Assemble come out after waiting that long for it. So I was frustrated. Runner up would go though to somebody having a little kid sitting behind me and kicking the seat the entire movie. But yeah, that was hands down my worst theater experience.
All right, we've all been there with a lot of that crap. Phil, what is yours?
When I was younger, my parents told me hey, we're gonna go see a movie, and then next thing I know, I wound up in Buffalo watching grown men tackle each other to the ground and wrestle. What a wonderful experience that was. I don't know if that counts as a movie-going experience, but I was surely expecting one, and I didn't get it.
I can't believe that happened to you, Phil. I'm so sorry, man.
Yeah, that's like.
If I had to pick,
you and Matt had like similar life experiences. Right. That's really wild.
Weird that could happen twice.
No, in Matt's defense, when I was younger, I was a fan of wrestling, and then I hit the age of 10 and kind of grew out of it. But when I was younger, I was a fan of wrestling. But if I had to pick a real answer, it's hard if you take away cell phones and people talking. I'm just going to say Scary Movie 5 because by the time the credits rolled, I could not believe I paid money to go see it. So I'll just say that.
It took you to the fifth one to realize that?
Just leave me alone.
Bethany, what would you say?
Well, I actually thought of one when Darby was talking about it, and my worst theater experience really outside of people and cell phones, all that kind of stuff was Avengers Age of Ultron. My favorite MC character is Quicksilver. So imagine me sitting in there and then the last 20 minutes of the movie happens or so. I literally sobbed. I was sitting in in there. It was me and my best friend Casey. We went to the double feature of Avengers and then Age of Ultron, and I was just like literally when that happens, I like lurched forward. It was like, and I was just like crying and furious. And to this day, I am furious. I like occasionally like angry tweet Kevin Feige and be like, hey, why did you do this? Undo it, please. Bring it back. But other than that, I think like all of my worst theater experiences are from working at a movie theater. Because you kind of get exposed to the best and the worst of humanity there. And like the biggest one I remember is it was when the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle live action came out. A storm came through and like we were packed out. I was in box office by myself for like 4 hours and I sold like 800 tickets by myself. I did 800. That was insane. And then a storm came through and blew a transformer. So we had no power. So imagine you have theaters full of kids there to see Ninja Turtles and their parents, and there's no air conditioning, there's no power. You don't know when it's coming back. You can't even process refunds if they use a credit card or debit card. You're just like,
oh, well. Look. All right. So we had another fan submitted question beforehand in our other comments. It was best Jake Gyllenhaal film. I think Sarah wanted us to do a whole Jake Gyllenhaal night, but
yes.
I just condensed this into best Jake Gyllenhaal film. Phil, we're going to start with you.
I need like an hour to think. Unlike Will Ferrell, Jake Gyllenhaal actually is a good actor with decent movies. If I'm put on the spot and have to think of the first one that comes to mind, it would be Nightcrawler. I think his performance in that movie. And I know I'm forgetting good Jake. Oh, wait, no, I take it all back. All right, Nightcrawler's great. But the best Jake Gyllenhaal movie is hands down Donnie Darko. Easily Donnie Darko. I can't believe I almost forgot about it. It's also one of my favorite movies of all time. It's top 50. One of the best science fiction movies of all time. It's a perfect amount of weird while also giving you great stories and solvable mysteries. So I'm going to go with Donnie Darko on best Jake Gyllenhaal movie.
All
Who
right.
didn't mute their computer?
Me? Well,
Matt.
yeah, me. So, Bethany, what is your best Jake Gyllenhaal movie?
I've seen Jake Gyllenhaal movies before. I mean, Brokeback Mountain, of course, is one of the best movies of all time and should have also won Best Picture at the Oscars, but the Academy is a chicken. I think my favorite one, though, is Nocturnal Animals, actually. It's Jake Gyllenhaal, Amy Adams, Aaron Taylor Johnson, directed by Tom Ford. If you haven't had a chance to see it, it's a little weird, but it's actually really good. And I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal at anything is pretty much amazing. And I literally had another one, not that one, on the tip of my tongue, and it just left my mind as soon as Matt was like, Bethany, what do you think? Yeah.
So going Nocturnal Animals. And
Nocturnal Animals.
Darko. Darby?
I do want to. Oh, well, I'll let you guys answer. There's some good ones in the comments over here.
Darby?
For some reason, the comments aren't popping up, so you'll have to.
They're being really slow for me now, but they're now coming in.
I don't even have them coming in. No, for me, Bethany, I got to disagree. There is one movie that Jake Gyllenhaal did that was terrible and ruined my part of my childhood, and he ruined Prince of Persia for me. That was one of my favorite games growing up, and that movie was terrible.
Prince of Persia: Sands of Time was the best game.
Yeah, that was my favorite game series growing up, and I was so excited for the movie and could not have been more let down.
I thought of the movie. Go ahead, Darby, though.
But my favorite, and it's one that, you know, when I talk to people, I didn't get a lot of love. I love Southpaw. I thought he was really good in that. I thought that was one of his better roles. And with that character development, if you hadn't seen it, it's a boxing-based movie. But yeah, Southpaw for me is probably my favorite that he's been in. I alluded to the MCU. I don't think his character's done in the MCU universe, so I thought he was pretty good in the Spider-Man film as well.
Yeah.
But it's got to be Southpaw.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm glad nobody stole my answer here because I'm about to cruise with it here. The best Jake Gyllenhaal movie of all time, as Phil shakes his head because he knows exactly what's coming. It is Bubble Boy. Bubble Boy is the best Jake Gyllenhaal movie because it's just a great movie. He's great at it. He spends his whole time in a bubble because he thinks he's got a disease that he doesn't. It's got great guest stars. The movie is hilarious. I watch it all the time. Is it the best he's ever acted? No, I'm totally kidding, guys. It's not Bubble Boy. Bubble Boy is a great movie, though, by the way. My favorite Jake Gyllenhaal is definitely Zodiac. Love everything about Zodiac. It's such a good movie. It's the slow burn that's an actual good slow burn, unlike what Mindhunter is. Zodiac is definitely the answer for me. It was the first thing that I thought of when I saw a Jake Gyllenhaal movie. So definitely going Zodiac for that.
The other one I thought of is called Prisoners. I think it's
very
yes,
good.
that one is great, and I completely just blanked out on that one. And I was like, oh, that's the one I meant to say. But yeah, Southpaw too, Darby. I almost mentioned that one, and I would have continued my streak of stealing people's answers.
All right, y'all keep your comments coming in because I finally have seen my first comment.
Oh my gosh, I'm
reason-
lagging behind too. I have like Facebook
comments are
pulled up
lagging
and
behind.
All right, well,
As the show goes on, I'll see more and more of your comments.
I have them up here, but Brian McDonald says end of watch, and that's
Yes.
so true.
Yeah.
That's such a good
All right, so before I leave the Jake Gyllenhaal, don't say any of the other topics they want us to talk about. Phil, do you see any of the Jake Gyllenhaal movies that we missed?
Yeah, end of watch, Wildlife, City Slickers, Love and Other Drugs, which no.
I didn't really care about Love and Other Drugs very much. All right, so we thank you guys for throwing those in. Like I said, keep those comments going. Phil can obviously see them, and they are slowly but surely coming in for me.
I
But
can see
we
them
had
on
another
Facebook.
one. We had another one that was coming in on our first Facebook post. This one from Emily. Guilty pleasure movie or TV show. So I'll leave it up to you guys if you want to pick a movie or a TV show guilty pleasure. We're going to start with you, Darby.
All right, I'm going to go the TV show route. And I'll be honest, I think, Bethany, I commented on something you put on Facebook one time about it, but the OC. Surprisingly, that is a show where I'll sit there and watch it. I have no shame. Ryan Atwood, picking fights every other episode was great. But yeah, it's not a typical show that I'm going to sit there and watch if it comes on. But for some reason, when it was on Fox, I started watching it, and I think I've rewatched the whole series maybe twice since it actually went off the air. So I will admit I like the OC. All
right. I'll go next. I'll go with TV as well. It's One Tree Hill for me. A lot of people call it a girl type show, but Phil and I both watch One Tree Hill. It's in my top 10 TV shows of all time. I watched the series the whole way through. They've got some really great episodes, a lot of dramatic scenes in it, and some of the best TV that I've watched. So One Tree Hill is definitely my best guilty pleasure.
There's nothing One Tree Hill. Nothing.
See, Phil wouldn't count guilty pleasure.
Didn't it get a lot of hate when we had our TV episode a few weeks ago? Didn't it get a good amount of hate when we had our TV episode?
I'm not sure how many people hate One Tree Hill.
Matt didn't have comments during the TV episode.
Yeah.
Right.
So
right,
you're going to have to be relying on my memory, which is shoddy sometimes.
Bethany, what do you got for movie or TV show guilty pleasure?
I'll go TV show as well. Glee. I like Glee. I'm in the process of rewatching it right now. I think it's a lot of fun. It's some character, like when you're rewatching it, I think was it you, Phil, that didn't like Quinn, or that you liked Quinn and it was a different commenter that didn't like Quinn?
I stopped at like season 3, so I don't know what her arc is.
She is something else. I like her. Like, I think her character's interesting, but I can definitely tell she's like a polarizing character, which her and also Rachel are very polarizing characters anyways, because they're like, especially Rachel. Rachel is just a spoiled little brat for most of the show. Up until I'm in season 4 right now. So hopefully she loses the spoiled brat stuff, but I doubt it.
All right. And Phil, what do you got for a guilty pleasure movie or TV show?
I define guilty pleasure as something that I would be ashamed to tell a group of people that I enjoy, which is what I'm about to do, I guess. But then again, there's really nothing that I'm ashamed to admit that I enjoy. but I actually think that the Leprechaun movies are all worth watching. And I know we talked about Leprechaun not too long ago, but they're all worth watching. They're all terrible. In every single aspect, the movie can be terrible. I was reminded of it because Megan and her mom were watching Willow on Disney Plus the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Warwick Davis on there, and I'm just kind of like, that's Leprechaun.
That's Leprechaun, yeah.
It was interesting seeing Warwick Davis in something that wasn't Leprechaun. But I'm just going to say the Leprechaun movies because they're all awful. But if they're on or if I'm bored, it's good to sit down and watch them.
Yeah.
All righty. So I'm starting to see a lot more comments. So I'm going to start drawing those in. I was trying to waste as much time as possible until I started seeing more. So this is the first one that I see from Roy and B. Hopefully I said that right. What movie trope do you guys like the best? So I'm not sure exactly where you're looking for trope, but
like movie trope would be like
a staple in a movie or
yeah.
So that's what I thought. So my thing that I love and what I will always love about movies and TV shows in general, it's got to have a love triangle for me. If you're going to count that as a trope, I need that love triangle. I need who am I going to root for versus who should I be rooting for, and the person in the middle that's trying to pick them. I think it makes for the best TV. Love triangles do. And for the best movies would be the twist. If I was going to pick movies, I would definitely need the twist for a trope. But I'll go with love triangles for my trope. Phil, what do you got?
Well, if you can tell by my stuff behind me, I'm a big horror movie fan. So I'd say my favorite horror movie trope is in the romantic comedies. If they end with the two people that you were wanting to get together the whole time, finally get together, and they play the sappy like 90s or relevant song as the two characters hold each other and make out in the middle of a public place. As the screen fades out and goes to the credits, I'll go with that one.
Okay. All right. That's your favorite
I got
movie?
a little lost in that question. Like I saw a comment and then I was like looking at the comment and then I came back. We started at horror movie and then we moved to like rom-com, but I was like, I missed something.
It was a throw off.
Yeah.
All right, Bethany, what's your favorite movie trope?
I like the final girl movie trope. It's a fun thing. It's more it's not really a trope so much as a genre, I guess. But I like the final girls, like especially when you have like the badass final girl, like Grace from Ready or Not. You know, mm-hmm. I like that kind of thing. Also, there's a comment that's asking if we see the YouTube comments. We do. We're all just having comment delay issues, apparently.
I'm about to pop up a YouTube comment for our next question. So yes, keep all those comments, Facebook, YouTube coming.
Darby.
Right, Darby, your favorite movie trope?
I'm gonna take your comment about the twist just a step further, but I love like spy thrillers, and so the trope that there's always an inside man traitor.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm watching a film like that, I'm already trying to figure out who it is. Who's going to turn on the good guys and who's going to be that inside mole, pulling the strings from behind the curtain. So I'll take it and go that direction with it.
Did you see Anna that came out in 2019, Darby? It's got Sasha Luss, Cillian Murphy, Luke Evans.
I don't think
not Judi Dench. Helen Mirren, I think.
Helen Mirren. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got a couple, I think, twists that you would like in it. It's a non-linear storytelling, but it's really good. I recommend watching it.
Adding it to the list.
All right. Speaking of our YouTube comments here, from Wes Yarber says, "What movie has had the most profound impact on your life and who you are?"
Dibs on last.
I'll give the rest of my my castmates here some time to think on it. It's going to sound really weird. It really is, but I'll try to explain it. Growing up in my small neighborhood, we had bonfires with the kid who lived across the street, my buddy Dylan, and we had what we called a Grease summer, and it's when we all discovered that Grease was an actual movie. We discovered the soundtrack to Grease. And we all picked different characters that we wanted to be for the entire summer for Grease. So Grease had a big impact on my childhood. We tried to actually be those characters growing up in my small little town. And I still sing the soundtrack today. I still love the movie. It's still my favorite musical. It's the reason musicals are my favorite movie genre out there. So I'm going to say that Grease had the biggest impact on my life growing up. Phil.
Again, you probably wouldn't know this by looking at me and notice that horror has a big impact on my life. I do want to give a shout out to my Aunt Wendy. She's watching tonight. She's in the chat. She showed me Halloween 5 when I was barely out of diapers and I was terrified. But because of that, that's like my first memory of a horror movie. So I want to give her a shout out on that one because that started my love for horror. But the one that had the most profound impact on my life is actually The Girl Next Door. Came out in 2004, which is another one of those rom-coms, and an incredibly, I guess looking back on it in hindsight, an inappropriate rom-com. But I watched that in my middle school years, where I think that I was just like growing up and becoming a man, and watching him love that girl so much to the point where he was willing to do anything for her, really put into perspective how much I value. I guess just love stories and love in general. I broke up with my girlfriend at the time because I broke up my girlfriend. I was in 6th grade. She was in 4th grade. But anyway, because I did not like her as much as I liked the girl in the movie. And I just kind of like, I always told myself I was going to be that guy, that Matthew Kidman guy who would risk it all for the girl of his dreams. And now I'm married to a total hottie. So it all worked out.
All right, Darby. Which one had the most profound impact on you?
That's tough. I mean, just sitting here thinking about it, I'm going to go ahead and go with one of the, I don't want to call it a cop-out answer, but I think Remember the Titans for a lot of people, and then for myself, I think is one of those that has a strong impact. That was one of the first ones I remember, I guess from a sports perspective, growing up and playing football, wanted to be around that. That was the first one where it wasn't about the sport itself. It was bringing in the bigger picture, and especially growing up in the South, say what you will, about some of those themes that kind of play out into real life. So seeing those crossed over into something I was so passionate about at a young age, I think that's something that stuck with me, and that's something that the second it's coming on, I'm still watching because I feel like I have that attachment to it.
Good deal. And Bethany, go ahead. We know you want to say.
Have had an impact on my life. I don't know if I have enough life.
Revenge of the Sith. We know it.
Yeah, it has Revenge of the Sith. I think, I've mentioned this one before. I rewatched it recently. Life is a House. Like I said, if you've never seen it, it's got Kevin Kline, Hayden Christensen are your two mains. Jenna Malone, a young Ian Somerhalder, whatever his name is in it. And there's a few other people that you'll recognize when you're watching it. But it's about, a dad who's dying of cancer, and he wants to spend his last few months reconnecting with his ex-wife and his very estranged son. And that's like, I have a great relationship with my parents and everything, but I think the message of that movie is really important. And you never know like what you have until it's gone, essentially. And it's also saying like it's never too late to reconnect and rebuild bridges where they've been burned previously. So it's a really good movie. It's got a really good message, and there's some other stuff that goes on in it too that's amazing. And so I definitely recommend it. If you haven't ever seen it and you're looking for something to watch, definitely watch Life as a House.
All right. So we thank you guys for joining us with our fan night here. Just keep those comments coming. It looks like I'm about 7 minutes behind on the comments, so we are definitely getting them coming on in. As we lost Bethany, she's about to pop back in here in a second. She had to refix her stuff. So there's Bethany. So we're going to move on here to the next question here. Comes from Corey Radcliffe, my little sister, and her new baby. Y'all say aw to her new little baby Rylan. Best movie that made you belly laugh. All right. So I think Phil and I might have the same answer for this. I'll go first so you guys can think a little bit. This is very easy. The best movie that ever made me belly laugh was one of my best theater experiences of all time. Went with a couple of friends to see it. It's definitely MacGruber. which is a play on MacGyver and all that stuff. But Will Forte, Kristen Wiig, a lot of the Saturday Night Live cast, and everything about the movie is funny. I showed it to my sister. She even laughed, and she doesn't laugh very much. MacGruber, it had me on the floor of a theater, a nasty theater. And yes, I've worked in theaters for a long time. I know how nasty they are. Had me on the floor laughing the entire time. MacGruber is definitely the best movie that ever made me belly laugh. I would say a close second is Scary Movie. The Scary Movies aren't great movies, but they definitely make me laugh. So MacGruber and Scary Movie would be my two picks. Phil, what do you got?
I'm going to go with something unconventional. I just remember laughing till I cried in the theater. And that is Seven Psychopaths. I know that there's other movies that I've belly laughed and everything like that, but when it comes to like how good the movie was compared to how hard it made me laugh, Seven Psychopaths, I remember crying in the theater. I was laughing so hard. And it's also just a very good movie. Christmas Vacation's up there too.
Oh yes, Christmas Vacation. All right, Bethany.
I don't laugh. I say as I start laughing. I know there's something that I've sat in a movie theater and laughed and enjoyed, and I just can't think of it off the top of my head. I'm trying to think of something that I've seen. I think I think the first Neighbors movie, Zac Efron and Seth Rogen, I think is yeah. I think that one, I laughed real hard in that. And then the Baywatch movie, I laughed because of how stupid and bad it was.
Such terrible.
But it was hilarious, so I did laugh at that. So, those count, right?
Darby, what movie made you belly laugh?
I'll give an honorable mention to Airplane. It's a little bit older, but underrated at this point. But before we beat the dead horse with the two sequels, you cannot tell me you did not watch the original Hangover and laugh your butt off.
I did not. I hate the Hangover movies.
The first one was hilarious. The second two, I'm with you. That was beating the horse and doing the exact same script over again. But the first one, watching it in the theaters, Rob Riggle with the taser, I still can distinctly remember just about to fall on the floor in the face. To me, that's one that immediately comes to mind. But yes, the sequels were hot garbage.
Ooh, Bad Moms. Bad Moms and Bad Moms Christmas are hilarious. Also, Due Date with Zach Galifianakis and Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. I do want to give a shout out to My Cousin Vinny also, which is probably the funniest comedy of all time. Let's go into our next one here from Alexia Smith, who I'm guessing this is her boyfriend Hamp who put this in, which is kind of weird now. What movie best describes your romantic side? And he gave hints like The Notebook, Deuce Bigelow, and I really hope Deliverance doesn't show your romantic side. Phil, we're going to start with you.
I've already said Girl Next Door for one question about my commitment to my significant other. So I will try and think of another one and just go ahead and say, good grief. Come back to me.
All right, come back to you. I guess I'll go with me. I never really seen the movie start to finish. I guess I would go with Pretty in Pink. I want to make sure I'm right saying the right one. Yeah, Pretty in Pink. Because I was like Ducky. I would chase until you basically just said no. And a lot of people would say no. But I was a big chaser, and even for my wife here, I had to chase her too. So I spent a lot of time chasing girlfriends. So I'll go with Pretty in Pink, Ducky. Darby.
Cool. Come back to me on that one as well. I'm still trying to. That's a good one. That's a solid one.
I've got one.
Bethany?
Gone Girl.
Oh, that sounds about right.
I'm just saying, if you cheat on me,
you just gonna frame him for murder, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna fake my own death. What, Phil?
I said, if you're a man in Bethany's life, leave now.
So everyone in the stream now leaves. It is the Bethany show.
Just don't cheat on Bethany.
Yeah.
All right, Phil,
I
Darby,
mean-
did you guys get one?
I'm going to say, or I'm going back and I'm going to say Garden State, because that's another one of my favorite romantic movies. And I'm picking it solely for the reason that he finds the love of his life, or his perceived love of his life, when he's not even looking. And I kind of think that that's how I met the love of my life, is when I just kind of really wasn't looking. And so I'm just going to go with that one.
All righty. Darby, did you ever come up with one?
I'll say 10 Things I Hate About You.
Love that movie. That's in my top.
Pretty sure my current and all my exes could probably tell you there was probably several things they loved me despite. So we'll go.
Darby just making everybody mad then.
Oh yeah.
Bless it. There was a comment from earlier, I think, that was like, what's a movie you like that everybody else hates? I've got an answer for that one.
I have that in the banners here. We're going to go to that one here soon.
Okay.
I was trying to get through some more of these comments. This is the first one that I see that has a question on it. A lot of these are a lot of answers that people would have, and I'm going to throw some of those up here later on. Tim R says favorite superhero movies and Pixar. So we'll go with Darby first. I feel like he should know his favorite superhero movie and probably his favorite Pixar.
Sure do. I'm OG Iron Man. That kicked off the MCU for me. That was one of my favorite ones. Iron Man was not the one I wanted to, spoiler alert, bite the bullet, so to speak, at the end of the current in-game situation. But and in fact, I think somebody was cutting onions in the theater when that happened. But just that original Iron Man movie is my favorite. Pixar, it's got to be for me the OG Toy Story. I still remember going to theaters and seeing that, and they even had the little mini movies that were right in the previews for that one too, the little 5-minute shorts. For seeing that. So Toy Story for me.
I'll go next because Darby was very close on both answers. Toy Story 3 is the best Pixar movie. And they're close. I have them real close together, but Toy Story 3 was the perfect ending to the Toy Story franchise. And he was close with the year for Iron Man as well. The Dark Knight is the best superhero movie. I know you don't want to call him a superhero, but it's still a hero, Caped Crusader, whatever movie. The Dark Knight is the best
There's nothing
superhero.
super about it.
He's super rich, and that's all.
All right.
And if he was a good person, he would know that becoming a billionaire is not fair to everybody else. Just saying.
Bethany, superhero and Pixar movie.
Superhero movie. I mean, like live action superhero movie. I love Captain America: The Winter Soldier. That's one of the best movies of all time. It's amazing. But even just in general, like I'm not even going to separate the two because I don't think you should separate them like between card or animated and live action. So favorite one, Big Hero 6 did not get the respect it deserves. Okay, let's just make that clear. Frozen came in and got all up in everybody's business, and Baymax is so much better. Okay, Big Hero 6 is an amazing superhero movie, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it now.
Just let it go, Bethany. Just let it go.
No, it's good, and it needs respect. I will force everyone to watch this movie. Okay, I will.
What about Pixar? What do you got for Pixar?
I don't know. I only know Toy Story off the top of my head.
Toy Story. Phil.
Matt stole Toy Story 3. I do think that's best Pixar, but I think a really close second is Inside Out.
Ooh, Inside Out. Yeah.
Best Pixar and best superhero movie is Watchmen. There's another superhero movie that I really like, but I'm going to save that to an answer for a future question. But yeah, Watchmen, hands down, best superhero movie. There it is.
All right. So we've got this one from Josh coming in. Worst movie to win Best Picture at the Oscars.
Me first. It's easy.
We're going to let Phil go first.
Moonlight. There it is.
Is that because you thought La La Land should win, or is there a reason?
No. La La Land wasn't very good either. Manchester by the Sea should have won. But I remember leaving the theater for Moonlight and wondering, such potential with great actors, such potential with a great story. And I remember leaving the theater thinking, what? You guys blew all that talent on that? And so I'm just going to say Moonlight.
That's a hot take.
Woo. All right, Bethany, what would you say?
I mean, obviously, I think Social Network should have won Best Picture. If you haven't noticed, I'm not saying that The King's Speech is the worst movie. I don't think Green Book should have won. Green Book was not the best movie that year at the Oscars, and I don't like white savior movies either. So,
All right, Darby.
I'm going to say something that a lot of people disagree with, but Birdman was just okay.
Thank you.
is that the drummer movie?
No, Birdman
it is all right.
Like reliving his Batman days.
Yeah.
I wasn't that impressed. And you had, I think it was the same year you had Thelma, American Sniper. You had a couple others that I honestly thought were better. And everybody raved and ranted about Birdman, and it was okay.
All right. The question is worst movie to win Best Picture. So it doesn't. I would normally go with Forrest Gump in this just because it shouldn't have won. But Forrest Gump is not a terrible movie. It's not a movie I enjoy, but it's not a terrible movie either. So I'm gonna have to go with one that I've seen. A lot of people say Shakespeare in Love winning over Saving Private Ryan is crap, but I've never seen Shakespeare in Love, so I can't tell you. I'll go with Crash because Crash was an absolutely horrendous film, and how that won Best Picture I still don't understand. So I'll go with Crash, and I'm not sure even what was in its place. I think that's Brokeback Mountain year. I've never seen Brokeback Mountain either, so I couldn't tell you if that should have replaced it. But Crash was awful.
Hold on, Matt. There's some good answers over here. I want to go through real quick. The Shape of Water. I think that's a good answer. I don't understand how that won. Driving Miss Daisy. They mentioned Crash. They mentioned Green Book. I was a big fan of Crash and Green Book.
I want to know what Josh is WTFing though, because I'm not seeing these comments in real time, so I don't know what the WTF belongs to. To Moonlight, okay, yeah.
He didn't like my take.
It's so much fun because I'm seeing all these people like writing in names of movies and their comments, and I'm like, well, this all came in 10 minutes late, so I don't know what they're talking.
I know
Specifically to. But we thank you.
Tony jumped in and he wants to know why was Cats so bad.
Oh, we've already talked about Cats. Cats is great.
Hey, real quick before we move on to the next question, Josh, I just want to say that when I watch and everything, you and I agree on so much. I comment on YouTube, so I never get to see what you're saying. But yeah, you and I agree on so much, just I guess not on Moonlight.
All right. So this one here comes from Brian. Movie that traumatized you as a kid. He says, E.T. for me, that little dude freaked me out more than anything any horror movie could offer. I'll go first because this is super simple, and I believe I see it right here. Yep, it's because of this woman right here. I introduced Matt to it, and now he hates clowns forever. And we're talking about that It miniseries, which I watched when I was very young, like 3, 4, and I never went by a clown again. This one doesn't scare me as much as the other one, even though this movie's way better. I didn't watch the miniseries again until I was like 12 because I was that terrified. Tim Curry just destroyed me. It ruined movies like Home Alone 2. I didn't watch Rocky Horror Picture Show for a long time. I didn't watch anything that had Tim Curry in it. And Lord, when the Wild Thornberrys was on Nickelodeon, oh no, because that voice was just it for me. Okay, pun intended.
Does he do Nigel Thornberry or something?
He was Nigel Thornberry.
Okay.
So yes, it's definitely the answer for me. The miniseries terrified me as a child, and I still don't like it. So Darby, which one traumatized you as a child?
I'm going to go back to what I said a few weeks ago on the horror movie show. Final Destination 2 to this day still traumatizes me as far as I won't drive behind a log truck. But that, now I'll mention it, it's a TV show instead of a movie, but Tales from the Crypt. When I was a kid, the Crypt Keeper, I had nightmares where I'd have to run and get my parents back because I was wake up in tears. I was just terrified. Crypt Keeper's just sitting there at the foot of the bed. And that, when I was a kid, that was the most traumatic TV movie character for me.
Well, that was like Are You Afraid of the Dark for me when they did that clown episode where he jumps out of the comic thing and he's bleeding like blue things out of his mouth. Ugh. Bethany, which one traumatized you as a child?
Before I get to that, I just want to announce that I'm getting a lot of support for my Gone Girl answer, including from your mom, Sarah, and Tabitha. So
yes,
I
figured it was definitely a great answer for you.
Yes, it was. It's a great answer for everyone. Let's see. I don't remember like ever being like my parents didn't let us watch like scary movies often. Like I remember my dad, I would, like lay on the couch with my dad when he was watching I Know What You Did Last Summer, and he would like cover my face up anytime anything happened. But the only thing I can think that like just really upset me as a kid was The Land Before Time.
Okay.
When Littlefoot's mom dies,
Littlefoot, Mom?
that's tragic and heartbreaking. And like I was very upset, but like I don't think I ever had like nightmares about a TV character or anything like that. There was one time like after the new It came out, I think a demon was in my room. Or I had a very strong lucid dream, which I will talk about later, maybe one day. But yeah, no, I've never like been traumatized or scared by something. I just have like a overactive imagination, but that's only when I'm awake.
All right, Phil.
Sesame Street. Big Bird haunted my dreams.
This is very true. He's not kidding.
Big Bird haunted my dreams for like 3 years. So Sesame Street.
Yes.
Really?
Phil was terrified of Big Bird.
I even had a dream that he was my dad. It was weird.
All right, there's something Freudian in that somehow.
Yeah, Big Bird is my real dad.
All right, so we're gonna look here some more. Marissa Yarber, how do you guys feel about the Pink Panther with Steve Martin? I'm gonna be honest.
Never seen it.
I've never seen it. I know they had the original Pink Panther, and I like the TV show theme song. I'll go with that. But Darby, have you seen it?
I saw it, when it came out, years and years ago. I mean, I didn't really care for it. It just kind of was that stupid humor that Steve Martin kind of put into a role, and they were just kind of banking on that for the entirety of it. So no, not a huge fan.
Phil?
Oh, I never. The only thing I know about that movie is you can't say hamburger right. It's in all the trailers.
All right, so sorry we couldn't answer that one as well as you hoped. Alexia, you're trapped on an island and have a TV and DVD player. What movie do you bring? I'll go with Phil because I'm sure Phil already knows what movie he's bringing.
Actually, I don't. If I'm stuck with only one movie for my whole life, come back to me.
Okay, Darby?
Never heard of that movie.
Doing it for the greatness that is the film and for the soundtrack, Dazed and Confused. Bring me that so I can have that soundtrack, and then the early adaptations of some of our current favorite actors. But Dazed and Confused on the island for me.
All right, I'm ready.
Phil?
All right, I'm going to just go ahead and say it. And in case this is a question for future reference, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is the movie I'm bringing. It is the greatest movie of all time with one of the greatest scores of all time. And every time you watch it, you find something different. So I feel like if I watched that movie for the rest of my life, I would still find new things on each watch. So I'm going Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Greatest movie ever made.
All right. Bethany?
I'm going to go with Ready or Not. I really enjoy that movie as of late, and I watched it a ton of times. Yeah, I think it's fun. I could watch that for a while and then hopefully, die of exposure before I get bored of it.
I'm going to go with a movie that I love musicals. I'm going to go with a movie that has amazing music, and I love every song in it. I'm going to go with Rock of Ages, just because it's 80s music. I'll never get tired of it. And, yeah, I need some music if I'm going to be on a desert island for a long time, and why not go with Rock of Ages? That is a good movie and has great music in it. So
how did none of us think to say Castaway? So if we needed to steal ideas on how to get off that island,
all that movie taught me was how frustrating it is at the end not knowing what was in that box.
Honestly, like if that's if we're gonna be like super legit, it's just like a video, like a how-to survival video is what we would all be bringing if we had a choice. Like find a survival video and you'll be fine. Bring an entire box edition of Survivor or Bear Grylls or something.
Yeah, Survivor, man.
Let's see. I'm looking at some more of our comments in here.
You all be happy to know a coworker actually just texted me a picture of the Crypt Keeper. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it.
All right.
Well, we now know what to send to Darby when he's least expecting it.
So I've reached some more comments here. All right. We got about another 15 minutes. Keep them coming in. Best plot twist of all time. I love plot twist movies. I really, really do. It's tough. I have two that really blew my mind. And I'm going to say them both. I'm going to go The Usual Suspects and Saw. Those are the two best plot twist movies of all time for me. I didn't see either one of them coming, and the way that they crafted the endings for those to happen is still some of the best cinema that I've ever seen. So The Usual Suspects and Saw. Phil?
Saw is the greatest plot twist of all time. Since you said it, I'll just go ahead and say Saw 2.
All right. Darby, do you got one?
Well, it was Saul, but thanks for that. So I'll go back to the other one. I still think that the twist at the end of the OG Scream, I think.
Hey.
Yes.
That
Scream, good.
still got to be up there. Saul, I think, does take top one, but Scream's got to take number 2.
Hey, Tabitha Nava in the comments says The Village, and that one is really good as well.
Oh, yeah. The Village is good. Bethany?
I'll go with The Visit. It's a horror movie. It came out like 2015. Horror movie, scary movie. Not really horror movie, scary movie.
It's a good movie. That's all that matters.
It's a good movie. Watch it. It's got a great plot twist in it. But I agree with Darby. Scream's plot twist, and then the plot twist in Anna is really good too. So if you want a plot twist, watch Anna as well.
Hopefully I'll make it down.
Couple of comments, Matt, before you move on. Usual Suspects, The Village, Skeleton Key. That's a really good one.
That's a really good plot twist too.
Oh yes.
It's most depressing ending of all time, hands down.
Whoa. Which one?
What's in the box?
7.
7.
7.
The Mist.
Oh yes,
Mist.
definitely the Mist.
Now You See Me. Vader's Luke's father. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so some good plot twists there. So thank you for submitting that question. This is my elder sister. Thank you. All right, best sports movie. Phil and I actually will have the same answer for this, so I'll say something different. But Phil, you go ahead and say the actual answer, and I'll pick something different.
The Replacements. Great.
Oh, I forgot Darby would say The Replacements also.
Oh, hey, that's a 3-fer. Let's hear what Bethany's got.
No, we would all probably say The Replacements. So I'll tell you my number 2. Number 2 is Major League. Major League is the second best one. Darby, you got a number 2?
I will throw out there Miracle. Love Miracle.
Bethany, any sports movie?
Of course, I love Mighty Ducks, but Warrior. Joel Egerton, Tom Hardy, Nick Nolte. We were actually talking about this before the show. Warrior is one of the best movies. It's technically a sports movie. It's about MMA. It counts.
Oh, yeah.
I'll count it.
Bethany, real quick. Do you agree that D2 is greater than the original Mighty Ducks?
Of course.
Okay, good deal.
D2 is the best.
Easily.
Mighty Ducks movie. And then, I like D3 a little bit more than D1, but D1's got, a little special place.
I've reached Tony's comment of why was Cats so bad.
Because it was terrible.
Hey, real quick, Sarah over here just said I, Tonya is the best sports movie, and that is a fantastic movie.
Yes, it is.
Love I, Tonya. In fact, it was my best picture winner in the year it came out. Can't remember what year. 2017?
Yes.
Hey, wait, that same year. I can't remember what year it was. But anyway, it was my favorite movie that year.
What was?
All right. So it looks like I've made it all the way down to the comments, and I haven't seen another question. So we're going to go back to another question that was submitted by Josh in a previous one. Or have we done this one?
No, we have not.
Yeah. All right. So Josh said movies that are universally hated that you actually love. So I'll go first just because we've already talked about it. Cats. I like Cats. I just do. The music's good. I actually followed the storyline. Them playing Cats didn't really bother me as much. So Cats for me. Phil?
Cats sucks.
What'd you say, Phil?
I didn't know if Bethany was going next.
Oh.
No, she just said Cats sucks.
No, she was reminding everyone how awful Cats actually is.
Right. Okay. We talked about one of these in a previous or in the comment section, and Bethany called me out on it. But Grease 2 is not only a good movie, but far better than the original with better music. So I'm going to say that. And then also, while I'm riding the conspiracy train, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is one of the greatest.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Stop it.
Standing
Yes.
on its top 5.
All right. So Phil
You
is
can't
now muted.
unmute him right now, Matt. This is not a dictatorship. This is a democracy.
Amazing
And
Spider-Man 2 is a top superhero movie, and I will die on that rock. So Grease 2 and The Amazing Spider-Man 2, love them both.
All right, so before we move on to that, I've now reached down to Josh's comment. Since this, we're still going to answer that.
Okay, I was going to say, me and Darby still haven't answered.
Since I finally reached Josh's comments, and this was Josh's question, I believe this was about The Crash. So
no, that was about Moonlight.
Or Moonlight, not Crash. Moonlight is what I mean. So yes, I'm now seeing how upset Josh was at Phil about Moonlight. And there it is. I loved Moonlight. So there.
Hey, Josh's newest comment says, "I'm so with you on Amazing Spider-Man 2, so I've redeemed myself in his eyes, I believe."
All right. So
I mean, y'all are still gonna have a grudge because you liked me reading comments last week, but you lost the Punisher argument anyway. So
You didn't lose it.
No.
right,
yeah, you did.
a movie that is universally hated that you actually love.
Me or Darby?
You.
Nick Saban's Power Rangers 2017.
Oh, Bethany.
Hey, Darby supports me.
How did this come back? Bethany and I argued about this after the last episode. She said, I'm going to come back and we're going to fight about this. Now she brought it all the way back.
When I saw Josh's question the other day, I immediately was like, Power Rangers 2017. That movie is pure gold.
No.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Even gold in that movie.
She's not wrong. I hate to agree with Bethany, but she's got a point.
That movie was so
It's
bad.
a lot of unfair hate.
That movie is fantastic. The cast is great. That is the most dedication I have ever seen to product placement in a movie.
Let's not forget that Elizabeth Banks was playing in a completely different movie than everybody
I
else.
don't care about Elizabeth Banks. Becky G, Naomi Scott, Ludi Lin, RJ Seiler, Dacre Montgomery, that cast.
Zac Efron? Yeah.
What?
Discount Zac Efron. Yes. This was before Stranger Things, so we can still call him Discount Zac Efron.
Dang,
right.
that was
Darby, go.
true, but dang.
Darby, what's yours?
I know this is also going to get a lot of hate, but I liked the Green Lantern. Everybody hates on it. I liked it. I mean, it's not definitely at the top, but I think it also gets a lot of unfair hate. But the other one that came to mind was the Matrix sequels. I don't think they're awful. They're fun to watch. I don't watch them on repeat or anything, but once again, I don't think they deserve the hate they get. But yeah, I think Green Lantern is the one everybody would be shocked that I actually enjoyed it.
The second Matrix has some good scenes, like the highway thing that they built. The whole scene is good. The third one's just garbage. And Green Lantern, I mean, Ryan Reynolds had to go back and shoot himself for taking that. So, all right. So looking at another one here, what's the best sports movie speech of all time? That's easy. It's Herb Brooks and Miracle. I don't see anything else beating that unless somebody's going to go with Coach Boone at Gettysburg, but it's definitely Herb Brooks and Miracle.
Herb Brooks.
Yeah, I was going to say, remember the Titans. Warrior.
I don't know the guy's name, but the one he gives him at the end of the movie.
Frank Grillo.
Yeah, Frank Grillo. One where he's fighting.
Frank Grillo is in that movie, huh?
Oh yeah, he plays his trainer.
There was one question I saw earlier that was like favorite 90s movie.
Favorite 90s movie? The Shawshank Redemption. Easily. It's my number one movie of all time.
The Craft.
That
Pulp
makes
Fiction.
What, Darby?
Pulp Fiction.
It's Boogie Nights.
Nope, it's The Craft. You're all wrong.
Marissa is back, and she says, what would you say the best movie of all time is, and why is it Pink Panther with Steve Martin? I applaud you, Marissa. Yes. As I just said, it's The Shawshank Redemption, but I applaud that question.
Eternal Sunshine.
Phil said Eternal Sunshine. Darby, best movie of all time?
Of all time?
Yeah.
My favorite all time is The Departed.
Departed.
Matt's top 10. Keep it going, Bethany.
No, Bethany's I know what Bethany's is.
What is it, Matt?
Power Rangers.
It's one or two. It's either Revenge of the Sith or Gone Girl.
Power Rangers 2017.
No, it is not. Don't lie. All right, here we go. Jamie, my wife says, Emily's question, what movie can you quote word for word? I can actually quote a lot of movies word for word. MacGruber would definitely be one that I can quote word for word. A lot of comedy movies. My Cousin Vinny, Two Utes. Darby, you got one you can quote word for word?
And we do it in our group me message we have with some buddies of ours. Forrest Gump. Yeah, just about word for word. I got it.
Bethany, anything word for word?
Power Rangers 2017. Beauty and the Beast.
I don't know if Corey's still here. Corey's my little sister, but her and I can both quote School of Rock and 8 Crazy Nights word for word.
8 Crazy Nights, good.
I have a comment from her at 7:45 that says she'd rather drown in the ocean than watch Star Wars for the rest of her life.
Ooh.
Oh, there's the one that says best movie adapted from a video game.
Hey.
Super Mario Brothers. Hold on. Let me go back. Let's go back to the one that everybody hates that I actually love. I actually like Super Mario Brothers, and I stand by it. It's not bad. It's not a terrible movie.
There's a Super Mario Brother movie?
Yes, it is very 90s. They knew it was very 90s. It had a great cast. John Leguizamo playing Luigi. That's perfect casting right there. I don't think it's as bad as everybody said, and I actually enjoy it as a video game movie.
I didn't even know there was a Super Mario Brothers movie.
It might be worse than Cats. 100%.
Slow down, Darby.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
We're reaching on that one.
Darby, do you have one?
I actually like the Resident Evil franchise.
Hey, there's mine right there.
That was pretty solid. Most video game movies, unfortunately, are awful. Like I mentioned, Prince of Persia earlier let me down. Assassin's Creed is one of the best video game series of all time, and we butchered that movie too. So that was a letdown. So I'm gonna have to go back to the Resident Evil movies.
The OG Resident Evil is very good.
Yes.
All right, Bethany, do you have one?
The new Tomb Raider.
All right. Not with
No hot take.
Angelina Jolie, but with Alicia Vikander, huh?
Y'all are silent, so I'm taking that as agreement that it's good.
It's all right.
I think I stopped after the first Tomb Raider movie with Angelina Jolie.
The one
my
with
dad-
Alicia Vikander and is very good.
My dad would play those all the time. The Tomb
I
Raider
think
game.
there's one where Lara Croft is in it.
All right, so we've got favorite.
Josh said Silent Hill. That's also a very good movie based on a video game. I like Silent Hill.
Favorite werewolf movie. I'll let anybody jump in who's got their favorite werewolf movie right off the top of their head.
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf is the right answer.
I probably have to go with Teen Wolf myself.
I'll
I
say
only know the
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, I think, is another decent one, though.
Mm-hmm. I definitely love Teen Wolf. Teen Wolf might be the best one.
I have like I have like a TV show. What was that TV? Hemlock Grove. That was a good one.
Oh, yeah, I've seen Hemlock Grove.
Not really a movie, but
Favorite Disney classic. I'm gonna guess she was saying classic and not classical.
Yeah.
Favorite Disney classic. So let's.
Whoa, pause. Tabitha just swung in here with Ginger Snaps on a werewolf movie. I take it all. Ginger Snaps is the best werewolf movie. I love Ginger Snaps.
hey, pause. There's a comment from 10R at 7:51 p.m. Jane is fine. Bernthal is better. #Team Bethany.
There it is. I got it.
Hey.
All right. So favorite Disney classic. Let's go before the 9. Well, go before Little Mermaid. Go before 88 with your favorite Disney classic.
Disney movies came out before The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm gonna go Robin Hood.
101 Dalmatians.
Bambi.
I will echo. I think 101 Dalmatians.
Darby, we're wavelengthing it here.
I'm with you on that one. Okay.
Hey, Jamie wants to know what your favorite Western movie is, Matt.
Django.
I
That's Western, right?
I love Django.
Django and Star Wars.
Oh, the new remake is really good as well.
A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Yeah,
Yes.
Magnificent
Million Ways to Die in the
Seven.
West work too.
The new Magnificent Seven.
Actually, I'll actually give an actual answer to that. I'll go with Young Guns. My mom made me watch Young Guns. I actually like it because Emilio Estevez, Kiefer Sutherland are both good. So I'll go with Young Guns.
Bethany, I'm going to echo you though. That new Magnificent Seven, the remake, I actually really enjoyed that too. So yeah.
Okay, so like I don't remember if I knew it was a remake or not, but then like everybody starts dying. That happens to me like every time like a movie is like a remake or whatever. I'm like when I saw A Star Is Born, I was talking to a coworker about it, and I was like, "Oh, you having to go see?" He's like, "Oh, have you seen the others before?" And I was like, "No." And then they just let me walk into that movie. They let me walk into that. I was upset. People will be dying.
By the way, that's the reason I hate westerns right there.
Lonesome Dove.
My mother made me watch all 6, 7, 8. I lost track of how long that thing is. Watch all of that movie, and I haven't watched no western since. So, yeah, I hate Lonesome Dove. Do we have any final submissions before we sign off here?
I just thought of a question.
Yes.
Favorite movie heartthrob?
Justin Timberlake in anything. Andrew Garfield in The Amazing Spider-Man.
Taylor Kitsch.
Darby, who's yours? Come on. You don't
Ryan-
have a man crush? You gotta have a man crush.
Ryan Gosling. I mean, he was a liability in the secondary, but
Yes, he was. I'm sure you're going to say Hayden Christensen down there.
Hey.
Hey. All right, y'all.
Hold on,
We
Matt.
thank you for joining us.
Your favorite
What?
horror movie, and I'm gonna feel bad if I don't give them the horror because that's what they came for.
All right, Phil wants to do favorite horror movie real fast. This will be our last question. Phil, you started it. What do you got?
It's Scream.
Scream,
The
and then
Craft.
it's a close second. Scream is the best horror movie.
Yep.
All right, sounds like we all in agreement on that.
I said The Craft too, but yeah, Scream is
And
great.
The Craft over there from Bethany. Well, we thank you guys. We've reached an hour. We hope you all enjoyed fan night. I'm sorry it took us a while to get your comments, but I hope I got all of them up there. And I see you guys commented a whole lot on a lot of movies. And we thank you guys for sending in your questions, for following us here on Movie Rounders. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. We're on Instagram, Twitter. We'll be here next Thursday, I'm sure. We'll come up with a new theme. Y'all let us know what themes you want us to do. We saw a 90s night since we did 80s night. If you want to see us do a classic night, we might be able to pull that out. Maybe we'll get Bethany to watch some classic movies. Thank you to Phil and Darby for being here. We'll see if Tony and Daniel decide
Even though they
to
have
show up
terrible
for-
opinions about The Punisher.
Yes. We'll see if Tony and Daniel decide to show up next week for work or not. But anyway, we're Movie Rounders, and we thank you guys for watching us. Have a good night.
Go wish Daniel happy birthday.
Yes, his birthday tomorrow.
Bye.